Hey, Bart.
Hey, Court.
What was that?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm just having fun with the camera.
I'm going to veer off the beaten path today.
Okay.
And we're going to interview someone who is not a dog professional.
But she runs into dogs.
She does. And we're still going to talk about it.
All the time.
It is the lovely Angela Spencer.
Yes.
And she is one of my B&I buddies. And I can't wait to talk to her.
Yes.
It's you're going to hear a little bit about dogs and a little bit about maids and a little bit about keeping your house clean.
Super clean. Like COVID clean.
So let's get to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's do it. And we have a special guest with us today. I think I say that every time, but this guest really is special.
They are special. Everybody is.
It's Angela Spencer from Two Maids and a Mop in Round Rock. And you might be thinking, wait a second, this isn't about dogs, is it? But it will be about dogs. Just you wait.
Want a bed?
So Angela, welcome to the Dog Ranch TV podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you. So you and I have known each other for a couple of years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back. We met in B&I, which is we could have a whole podcast just about B&I.
You could.
But today we're going to talk about you and your business. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in this business.
Awesome. So, yeah, I am the local owner of Two Maids and a Mop Round Rock. And so we are a residential cleaning company, and we serve Round Rock and surrounding areas, including Pflugerville, Taylor, Hutto, Cedar Park, Georgetown, and a handful of other places. So how I got, so we're really keeping it clean. So
literally,
how did I get started in the cleaning business? I woke up one morning and said, I want to own a company and I want to be a cleaner. I'm just kidding. That's not how I got started. My background is I worked corporate law for many years, and worked downtown Austin for about 10 years. And it got time for my daughters to be school age. And the commute was just killing us.
Yeah.
So I felt like something was kind of tugging at me. I really needed to make a change, because by the time I was getting home from work, I was missing dinner, or I was spending an hour and a half in the car. And when our kids became school age, we moved to the suburbs and got into a school we really liked, and got into the whole, suburb life. Yeah. Well, when you're suburb life and you have kids, it's really hard to factor in a couple hour commute in your day and have quality time with your children.
Yes.
So honestly, when I had this longer commute now, and I thought, how can I use this extra commute time in a positive way? Because I'm the kind of person, if life hands me lemons, I'm going to put it in a glass and throw in some tequila. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to try to use it to my advantage. And so that's what I did. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to audiobooks. I started listening to a bunch of things that was more like, finding some kind of direction, more entrepreneurial books, things like that. I read a couple books that really touched me and really motivated me. And at the time when I was working in the corporate field, my background is working with entrepreneurs, startups, that world. And I got to thinking, if guys do this, why am I not doing it? But the thought is scary, right? Because you can tell somebody what to do all day long, but actually do it is a completely different skill set.
Yep. Amen, sister.
So after a while,
to the choir right now.
Yeah. And after a while, I felt like God was tugging me somewhere. And I remember telling my wife one evening, and I said, something's about to happen. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be amazing. And I went on this kind of a journey for the next couple months, seeking out what it was I was supposed to do, because my one goal was to find out how to support my family living in the suburbs and not have to drive in to work every day. So essentially do something else. Telecommuting was not an option at the time. So, I know now with COVID things have changed, but at the time it just wasn't a thing. So I went on this journey. I talked to people, I read books. One of my favorite quotes is Benjamin Franklin: "He who is wise learns from everyone." And that's what I did. I went out and I started learning from whoever I could find.
Take your journey a little bit.
Yeah, I've never done this before, but I, surround myself with people that have been on this journey. It's just like, I don't know who said it, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
True. That's true.
So I just started on this kind of journey and went along and tried some different things. And essentially it led me to work with a franchise consultant. And he did a profile on me and said, okay, well, what do you like to do? How do you want your lifestyle to be? And just like, what do you want to do during the day? And after that, he presented me 3 different ideas. And one of them was when he said a maid company. I just giggled. I said, no.
That's not for me.
I have never done physical labor. I am an office person. Like I would have never thought about it. I'm not even good at cleaning my own house, like things like that. Which is a lie. I am pretty good cleaning my house.
And now you are.
Now I am. Anyway, the thought just really struck me not because of the work itself, but because there's just so many cleaning companies out there. What could possibly set this cleaning company apart from all the other cleaning companies? So I started going to this journey. He gave me 2 other opportunities, so 3 total. And I started meeting with them once a week. And they started kind of doing their presentations. I started getting to know these different companies. And the deeper I got in with Two Maids and a Mop, the harder I fell. And if there's one thing that I've learned from working in corporate world and working with entrepreneurs, is it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter your product. What matters is the leadership of that company. Well, the founder of Two Maids and a Mop is a guy named Ron Holt. And he is, I adore him. He is now a personal friend. And he's very inspirational. He motivates us. But he believes in team. He believes in giving back to your community. And he's just a genuine guy.
Yeah.
And he's trying to create something that has not only just a quality cleaning product, but social responsibility aspect of it too. One of the things we do is we work with an organization called Cleaning for a Reason. And we clean homes for women that are undergoing cancer treatments for free.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
That's important. That's just an important thing to do. And he asks all his franchisees to do it, and it's up to our discretion if we choose to do it or not. So it's a no-brainer for me. Yeah, of course we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because his philosophies and the things that were important to him were also the same things that are important to me. And that is yeah, you're going to be successful, but give back to your community. And so, that's always going to be important to me. It's always going to be a thing I do.
That's great.
So the more I started talking to Two Maids and a Mop, the more I really started falling for them. I fell for their business model. It was they had a really fantastic business model. They've been around for, at that time, about 12 to 14 years. So they had a lot of financial history. They were solid. The last step was to fly to Birmingham, Alabama. To meet Ron Holt and the team. I remember the day because it was the day after Super Bowl. And we always used to, pre-COVID, would throw Super Bowl parties. And that year, my wife was like, you got to catch a 5:00 plane. You sure you want to have a Super Bowl party? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm not canceling the Super Bowl party.
It's the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl. So let's just say the next day was a little rocky, but I got on the plane. I was a little tired, but I was just full of excitement. And as I landed in Alabama, I'd never been to Alabama. And as I landed there, I was just thinking, where is this journey going to bring me? There is a world of possibilities out there. What is this going to bring me? And how is this going to affect my family? Can I do this? I wasn't sure if I could even do it. Got picked up at the airport, went back to Two Maids and a Mop. And the feeling of family there with the team, I don't want to use the word staff. I just say team members, family members, they are very close. Yeah. And it really came across in the office that day. They did a presentation. They did a presentation with me and a couple that was considering joining as well. And they did, spoiler alert, they ended up joining and they're doing fantastic today. And now they're good friends of mine. Awesome. And we keep up on Facebook and all that. Spent the day at the office. They took us to lunch. They took us to a fantastic barbecue place. And it just felt right, and I left just, Ron Holt comes across very sincere, but when you meet somebody in person, it's just completely different. And I knew that he was the key to the success of the company. And if I didn't feel it with him, I wasn't going to feel it with the company. And I felt it with him. I really, really did. And I came back home and I was like, this is where this whole journey has been leading me. And I talked to my wife about it. I was scared to death, but I knew this is what I was supposed to do. There was a very clear picture at that point where I was going in this journey.
What did she say when you were? I'm sure you just came home and you were like blah 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 blah. Like what? How did she take it, or what did she do?
I am very blessed to have a extremely supportive wife. She is, she's got her own career, and she's always been a cheerleader for mine. And we just support each other. And she said, Angela, if this is what you feel like God's telling you to do, then I'm going to support you and I'm going to be there for you. And she has.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, when you go from a nice, job to not being able to pay yourself at all, there's some humility there. And we used to, talk all the time about, who's the breadwinner and who's whatever. And she's the breadwinner for sure. And so our roles have changed, and that's okay, because I know this is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. So
how many years ago was that when you got started?
That was the beginning of 2018. So I started having talks in 2017. Fast forward, we're going on 3 years now.
Nice.
We're doing great.
How many maids do you have on your team?
It fluctuates anywhere between 10 and 11. We started out with 2 and just grew from there. And I just can't hire enough. I just cannot hire enough. Every time we hire, it's fantastic. I'm very, very grateful for that. It's been a long journey, a long road, but, and a lot of hard hours. In the beginning, it's like Ron Holt compares it to having a baby. It's like bringing home a newborn baby.
Yes.
And,
for sure.
Yeah. And, God, I don't miss the baby days. I love my kids to death, but I don't miss the baby days.
We don't either.
And you gotta, and it was, 20, you guys know, it's basically 24/7 for a couple years. And then, you finally kind of get to start weaning off and working on the business, not in the business.
Right.
And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm fortunate to have a fantastic manager who coordinates everybody and keeps track of everybody, including myself.
Danielle, she's great.
Yeah. And she's really good. She's really cool. And I love our team. And I'm really big into team culture and just, having fun with my team. And COVID's been a little hard because, it's, we haven't been able to hang out or do stuff together, but that's one of the things that we do is we hang out every once in a while and go out and have lunch or, have some fun together or whatever.
Yeah. You guys had to really kind of change what you were doing once COVID hit, right? I mean, I'm sure you may have lost some business, but the people that you kept, you wanted to make sure that you kept your team safe and you kept your clients safe. And what kinds of things did you have to do different for that?
So I immediately rearranged kind of how everything that we did, how we did things. It was a scary time. And I'm sure you guys, it was a scary time for you. I mean, obviously it's unprecedented, but when you're a business owner and this is how you pay your bills, it's scary when you have, hey, cancel me left and right. And you see this thing that you built for 2 years just slipping through your fingers. Yeah. It is hard. And, but I still never questioned the journey. I never, ever questioned that journey. And, I just, God's going to get us through it. It's going to be fine. Yeah. And the first thing I did was, because we're 2 maids and a mop, we go out and clean in teams of 2. So the first thing I did, and then how we operate is we do have an office. It's in downtown Round Rock near Dell Diamond. And our team meets there every morning. And we have everybody gets their supplies ready. We have our morning meeting. We talk about the day. We talk about the different cleans. If there's anything, Mrs. Smith wants special in her house, we talk about that. Talk about our positive Google reviews. If anything that needs to be addressed, we'll address, and just kind of have that morning huddle and send everybody out with a high five and a smile. Yeah. And well, COVID, we can't do that. So immediately what we started doing is creating 15-minute windows where we call them professional house cleaners, PHCs, could come in and get their equipment. So the first thing we did is stop cleaning in teams of 2s and started cleaning in teams of 1. Takes a little more time, but it limits exposure. And we're still doing a hybrid of that today. We're really trying to clean in one person. That person will take a little longer, unless the client wants 2 people. Some people do prefer 2 people because we get in and get out faster. But right now during COVID, that's one of the precautions we take is that we clean in teams of 1. So that's the first thing we did. And then we gave that PHC a 15-minute window in the mornings to come in and get their stuff so that they are not exposed to anybody else. And then they go out on their day, and we run off an app that is that corporate had made us. Luckily we had just got the app, and so we were able to run on this amazing app. And that's how we ran. We never we didn't see each other for a couple months. In fact, the running joke, I've got a employee that started during that time, and the running joke is, and she still gives me a hard time about it, but she says, "Angela, you didn't even know who I was for months. You didn't even know my name." I said, "That's not a thing. I knew your name.
I was paying you, so."
I know your social security number.
That wasn't a complaint, was it? No. I know your social.
No, but
careful.
Yeah, my point being is we never saw each other.
Yeah.
And so but we ran off this app. We ran off texts and phone calls and just kind of that constant communication. And luckily, I have a rock star team, and we got through it. And then when things started lightening up, business starts coming back. And those are the adjustments we made. I mean, in addition to the obvious, the PPE equipment, we still clean in gloves, masks. We have shoe booties. We've got the whole thing. Shoe
booty. That's a band from the 80s, I think.
I don't think so.
Really?
No.
No.
It could be.
Yeah. One of the changes that we did make was we upgraded our hospital grade disinfectant to something that the kill claim is the coronavirus. Yeah. And then we got an additional product in that helps businesses.
Oh yeah. Tell me, that's the super sanitizer, right? Tell me about that.
It's funny because when this whole thing first started, I had one of our vendors walk into the office and say, "Hey, I've got this electrostatic sprayer and I've got this disinfectant and this antimicrobial coating. You should invest in it." And I was like, I mean, I feel like that would be taking advantage of the situation, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to get through it. Well, fast forward a couple months later, businesses really need it.
Yeah.
And so I did invest in it, and it's a product called Razor, and it's an antimicrobial coating. It does have disinfectant in it. They recently kind of upgraded the product where it's disinfectant that does kill the coronavirus and an antimicrobial coating in one product.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So I've got an electrostatic sprayer, and the difference between the electrostatic sprayer and just like a different sprayer is the electrostatic sprayer, when it hits something, it'll go all around it because the particles take a little less time to fall. And so you're getting a better coating with everything. So what happens is viruses can remain on surfaces for however long. So if I've got something and I sneeze on a table at a restaurant or a door handle or something, and somebody comes along a second later and touches that, they could get sick theoretically. So this product is something that not only kills anything that's on the surface, it coats it long term. So if anything lands on it, it kills it instantly. It's kind of a big deal.
Nice.
And it's long term, meaning
kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
It
kind
is.
of like you guys. Y'all are kind of a big deal.
Oh.
No,
She's
it's
the big deal.
without saying.
Oh.
So it lasts about 30 to 60 days. So it's long term.
That is a long. I was thinking a couple of days, but that's a really long time.
Yeah, it's a while. Not my experience has been not a lot of companies were able to get this product, but we do have it and we do offer it as a service. Mainly, we market it to our smaller businesses because since I'm a small business, my goal is to help small businesses.
Yeah.
And help them open back up and give their clients a confidence level. Get a certificate to hang in the window. Says, this facility's been sanitized and disinfected and coated, and it's all the surfaces are safe in here. So come on in and spend your money.
I think we should do that when we open up our office
me
again.
too. That's what I was thinking.
Which we're not quite there yet, but I think once we hit stage 4, we'll probably start leaning that way.
And we hit stage 4.
We did?
Yeah.
We're back down to stage 4.
Oh, nice.
Woohoo.
Yeah, because we went up to 5 and went down to 4.
Like you said,
great.
it's unprecedented. Like this is just like such a crazy time. And, you know, that's such a useful, helpful thing. You know, it's a tool that just helps give people hope and confidence and like kind of slogging through this stupid thing that's COVID.
Well, yeah. And especially if it's a small business that's maybe has an employee that's tested positive or has multiple employees that have, been exposed to people who have tested positive. Like it's, I went yesterday, I was part of a Zoom meeting with industry professionals, and that our topic was, somebody in the meeting had someone who had just tested positive and she only has like 10 employees. And so it was like, how do I keep everyone else safe? How do I make sure this and that? And she's in Alaska. So it's a little bit different situation, but
So what do I do?
But, I was just listening and taking it all in because we hadn't actually had anything like that happen. I literally, at the end of the call, which was not over yet, my son texted me and said, "Mom, call me ASAP." And I was like, uh-oh. So as soon as I got off the call, I pick up the phone and he's like, "Okay, it's not an emergency, but one of our employees, both of her parents just tested positive. And so she's been exposed." And I was like, I just got off the call with this subject. I can tell you everything you need to know. So, so I was like, this is what you have to do. This is what she has to do. This is what her roommate needs to do because her roommate works here too. And it just became a whole thing. So we're still, working out the details of all that. But, the thought of you coming in and spraying everything so it's coated and safe is very comforting to me even now. So we'll be calling you about that.
Did the people leave the room like while you're spraying everything, or?
Yeah. So how it works, it's kind of odorless. You really don't notice it a lot. It's not that bad, but you do want to leave the room to prep for it. You just want to make sure that you have any kind of food or anything away. It's actually safe for people, pets, children, electronics. It's the same stuff that they use and that the schools use in the school buses during flu season. That coats everything to protect them. But what a lot of people I think don't realize is when you spray something like this down in your business, it also has a byproduct of eliminating employees being sick with just regular stuff like colds or flus. And so then you eliminate call-ins.
Yeah.
And productivity hopefully stays up instead of goes down during the bad weather seasons. So it's a little investment, but your productivity is able to stay, more in line with what you would kind of want.
Yeah, nobody has to lay in bed in a fetal position crying for their mom. I feel horrible.
I have to say, we've been customers of yours for a couple of years now, and
thank you.
This is the first time. I mean, we've been married almost 30 years. This is the first time that we have both agreed that having a cleaning service come at least once a month is a good idea. And at no point has he said,
"Stop it.
You don't need to spend this money."
Good.
And I am so happy about that because I love the work that your team does. They're always polite. They're always like very conscientious. Usually I like deep clean before they come so that, when my kids were young and living at home, I would say, you need to clean up because the maids are coming. They were like, my son would say, isn't that what they're supposed to do? And I'm like, no, their job isn't to clean up your shit. Their job is to clean the floors and the counters and you clean up your shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
But now that they're out of the house and it's just us, it's much easier for me to like kind of pre-clean and get it all. But yesterday I was so busy and they showed up before I had done all that. And they were just like, it's no problem. We'll do, we'll work around it. And I mean, they were just fantastic.
Good.
And I just can't thank you enough for the quality of the work and the quality of the people that you hire.
The people are always super nice.
Yeah, they're just wonderful.
They're very warm. And it, like I was telling Courtney, it's I'm not paying to have somebody clean my house. It's like I'm paying for time.
Peace of mind and time.
Just, it's like I don't have to do that.
And Angela, go ahead.
I just I love it. I love walking in and it smells fresh and everything, looks like a model home. And I'm like,
you have a beautiful home.
Thank you. And that's what Sandy said yesterday. She said, the weather outside is terrible, but she said, it is just beautiful here. She said, I love cleaning this home. And I was like, oh, you can come every time.
Oh yeah. We've had people fight to clean your home before.
Oh,
no, give me the Emkins.
I want the Emkins. They're the best.
Well, you guys have kind of little sayings and little, around your home that's really inspirational and stuff. And, those kind of things we notice. And
are you talking about the stuff written on the windows or like some of the framed stuff?
All of it.
Yeah, one of my dear friends came one weekend when our kids were young and we were kind of having a rough patch in our marriage, and she came in and kept the kids, and she literally wrote Bible verses all over the insides of our windows just to like bless our house and like keep it intact. And it was just so sweet and loving that I can't bring myself to take it off.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
Some are smudged, but they're still there.
Well, hopefully we won't clean those off.
That would be funny. I mean, not funny, but
like, oh, they're all gone.
It would be okay. We'd have to.
Let me make a note in your file not to clean those off.
No.
Don't clean the window.
She, I want to say she just used dry erase marker or something. It was something dry or wet erase marker. But yeah, it was everywhere.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad.
I want to talk to you about cleaning the homes of dog owners. So for people that have dogs, what kind of tips and tricks do you have for us, just as far as helping your staff stay safe and keeping our dogs, Bart can talk a little bit about keeping our dogs' anxiety levels low and how to prep our dogs for your team. But what tips do you have for us?
So I've got a lot of tips for you today.
Oh, good.
But as far as keeping our team safe, I think the biggest tip would be that if we are coming into your home and we don't know your dog, and we try to keep, if we can, we try to keep the same cleaners on the same homes. That way we know your home, we know your pets, and they know us. And that's important also for, in animals' anxiety level as well. But if we're coming into your home for the first time and you're not there and your pet is loose and you have a dog, especially, really puts us in an awkward position. Because you can say all day long, my pet is, she's fine. She's good with people. Well, dogs may not be good with somebody that they don't know that's just coming into their home and their owner's not there.
Right.
Yeah, not a total stranger. I mean, they might be fine most of the time, but not if you're not home and they're, the only ones home.
Right. And so we are very pet friendly. In fact, we carry treats with us. We carry dog treats.
I was going to ask.
We do carry dog treats. We always ask the homeowner if we can give them a treat, but that's one of the ways that we win your pet's owner or over. Especially if the owner's not home. And we've had that situation before. We have. And, but it's just mainly in us communicating with the homeowner and the homeowner communicating with us and getting to know the pets and the families and know the expectations. Cleaning is a very, very personal thing. And it takes time for us to get to know our clients and for our clients to get to know us. And dogs are all different. And we make notes in files about people's pets. We even note their names so that when our teams come in, they know their pets' names and they know if they can give them a treat or not.
Yeah.
Once the pets know who we are, then we're okay going to the home. Totally fine. But that initial visit, we really need the homeowner there to make that introduction.
Yeah.
So that's so that's really about safety. And we in fact we've had some contests where we take pictures with people's pets and the clients seem to really love it. We post them on our Facebook.
That's funny.
That's cute.
Yeah. But no, I've got some tips though, because living with the animals can be challenging and it's almost impossible to keep your house clean.
Yes.
So I've got a couple tips here. Absolutely. One of them was for a group or what you can do with your dog to help maintain your home. And one of them is to, when they come in and out, wash their feet and paws. I mean, it seems like an obvious thing, but some people don't do it. You want to have something in your entryway that like a mat or something where they can just kind of wipe their feet off a little bit as they come in and out. And that really helps as well. Keep them groomed, keep them bathed, keep them clean. That helps with shedding and things like that. Keep them exercised. Keep their nails clipped. That prevents scratching.
Wood floors and things like that.
Wood floors can cause a lot of damage. Leather couches, things like that. We're in a lot of houses where we do see some damage from pets. So those things are important to be maintained. Yeah,
that's we went all tile at one point. Well, we have some carpet, but we just didn't. I really wanted wood floors, and my floor guy was like, "Yeah, but you have dogs." He's like, "I know you really want them, but I really wouldn't recommend it." He's like, "How about if you get tile that looks like wood?" And I was like,
"That's the way to go.
I'll do that."
That is the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
And then when they eat, I recommend getting a tray with a little lip on it. That way you can kind of keep that water up or any food that lands out of the bowl. Those are pretty important. You also want to watch, one of the things is, especially if you have like a wood laminate floor and you have a dog, you want to be very careful not to let that water sit on that floor because it will warp it. It will do some damage to that floor.
Yes, it will.
Personal experience right here.
Yeah.
10 years ago in our first house, we realized that the hard way.
Yeah. My only tip for a laminate wood floor is don't let your 3-year-old have a black Sharpie because he likes to draw on the wood laminate floor in a big circle.
That's a rite of passage though. I think
I was like, what have you done?
Every new parent needs a crayon wall or a permanent marker wall.
Yeah, we did get it up, but it was not easy.
Did your kids ever cut their own hair?
Oh God, yes.
Yes, it has to happen. That's just another thing.
Oh, children. Okay.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's, as far as keeping dogs up, that would be my suggestions. And as far as cleaning tips, one of the things you remember is if you don't have a regular cleaning company that comes on a regular basis, I recommend getting a deep clean at least twice a year when you have pets.
Mhm.
That's when our deep cleans consist of coming in and doing a very thorough dusting of your home. Of course, sweeping and mopping floors, vacuuming. We wipe all the baseboards, wipe down all your door frames, your doors. Those things collect dust, especially if you have pets that get a lot of dander. We come in and do your high dusting, your vents, ceiling fans. A lot of dust and dander hides on the top of your ceiling fans. Yes.
I
Yes.
noticed.
And when you have allergies, it can do a number on your health. Recently, I discovered, my doctor, I did some allergy tests, and I'm allergic to dust.
Oh, nice. I'm allergic to dogs.
That's so funny.
So we understand the irony of that, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I'm a lifeguard. I'm allergic to water and sunscreen.
And sunscreen. That's
So
funny.
it's really important to keep your house maintained and hit those areas that a person wouldn't normally hit. You just wouldn't think to clean. You wouldn't think to dust your vents. You wouldn't think to clean the tops of your fans. You just won't think to do that.
That's where all the microscopic like mites and like little tiny germs and like they feed on dander and stuff.
Little things. So you notice this picture that's behind me. One of the things that we do when we come in, and this is on our premiums, it includes the high dusting. We hit all the vertical surfaces or horizontal, or you know what I'm saying?
Horizontal, yeah.
And so the top of this picture behind me would get hit because what happens is dust settles on there. So does pet hair, so does pet dander and all that. And it sits there, and then you sit and wonder why you're sneezing. Because you're not removing that when you're just wiping off your counters or vacuuming your floors.
Right.
So that's why people really need a professional cleaning company to come in and hit those areas that they normally wouldn't think to hit.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I love it when you guys come because, you know, like, I don't think it's a very common thing for most people to like, it's Saturday, so I'm going to scrub the shower, you know? Like, oh, it's, you know, time to clean up all the bathroom stuff, or let's, you know, take the stove apart and wipe that all the way.
No,
it just doesn't happen.
No, and it's funny you mentioned shower because this is one thing I wish I could shout from the mountaintops. If you have a glass shower, after this podcast, drive immediately to the store and buy a daily shower spray and keep it in your shower and spray it after every single shower.
Yeah.
That will help prevent hard water buildup because in our area, we've got a lot of hard water and we're in a lot of showers that have that hard water buildup and that stuff stains. And there's really not a remedy to that.
That's a great tip because we do have hard water and we do have a glass shower.
Do you, is there any kind of training for the ladies about like when they're introduced to a dog or like if they come into a house? I'm just thinking like their body language and.
That's a really good question.
Because I think we'd be happy to meet with your team, even on Zoom, if you want any help with that. It's
just, you know, the old saying, dogs smell fear. Or my dog, you know, they know a bad guy when they see one. They don't smell fear. They read body language. And in the dog world, like I can see it because it's my job. But there's always a freeze behavior right before a fight or an attack. And people do it too. And it's literally a freeze. So if I'm talking to you and all of a sudden I breathe in, I go, you know, that's when dogs go, what's wrong? And that's what they see. And if somebody walks into your house and the dog's barking, the first thing they do is they breathe in
and they stiffen
up. They stiffen up and they freeze. And then the dog's like, okay,
it's on.
What's going on?
Something's not right.
I was cool. I was just saying what's up. And now you're like freaking me out. And then so it starts playing on each other. So yeah, I'd be happy to talk to them. And, you know, there's simple body language things that they can do to put the dog at ease. Generally, people do the exact opposite. I can't tell you how many times people have come in and they're like, stay away from my dog, or so it's okay. I'm good with dogs.
Dogs love me.
And they just keep coming at the dog, straight on.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog, it winds them up. And that's like the last thing you want to do.
Like Tiny Noodle, our little guy, our Chewini, he's only 11 pounds. And so at the front door, everyone's like, oh, what a cute puppy. I'm like, he will bite you at the front door. Just don't. Yeah. He's never drawn blood or anything, but
it won't hurt.
At the front door, if people just reach down and he doesn't know them, he's like
he'll snap at their
hands. He does little
hands.
Snaps. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
He's like, awesome. But, so we just tell the people, we're like, ignore them. Don't look at them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just
5 minutes later.
Move right by him. And then he's like, okay, we're cool.
He jumps in your lap and he wants to be your best pal.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
Just the front door. Yeah. I do have a dog trainer as a husband, so we'll work on that.
Very nice. Yeah. Hey, I could have used you a couple of years ago. I've never really been scared of dogs until one thing happened. A friend of mine asked me to come in and feed her dog one evening when she couldn't come home.
Yeah.
Hey, no big deal. I'm gonna feed and walk this dog. And she was I want to say Weimaraner. Reiner.
70-pound dog.
No, I take it back. Nope. Great Dane.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Great Dane. Huge. So I'm walking in. I'd been there 1,000 times. I thought the dog knew me, but my friend wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And I just walk right in and she starts barking at me. And I ran into the kitchen and jumped on the counter and stayed there while she was barking at me. And I was like, what the heck? I'm not scared of dogs. What is going on? And so I was just like, what do I do? Mm-hmm. And, that was 10, 15 years ago. I don't think I could climb on the counter right now, but it was a pretty interesting visual. But had to calm her down. Eventually calmed her down and fed her and walked her and all that good stuff. But,
oh, good. You survived unscathed.
Yeah, no, it's scary.
Good.
We used to go pick dogs up in their home, and there was a black lab. This was years ago. And, I knew the dog a little bit because he'd boarded here a few times, but I opened the door and, the dogs know the door, the sound of the door opening. And, she came out of the kitchen and was whoa, just sort of like a quick bark. And then she was like, I don't know you, and kind of charged me. And, and I just started saying her name and turned sideways and, pulled out her leash. And, a leash is a secondary reinforcer for most dogs, their leash, not just a leash. Anyways, then she was just like, okay.
Oh, we're going for a walk.
But it's terrifying. And if your body language isn't right, you gonna get bit.
You gonna get bit.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Yeah. We don't want anyone getting bitten by a dog. And we don't want any dogs being so uncomfortable that they feel like they need to bite someone.
Yeah.
Because dogs don't do that just for fun. They're only doing something like that if they're scared.
Yeah. I always say, imagine you're in an elevator and nobody's in there and the door's open and somebody gets on the elevator. It's it's 80. How big is an elevator?
I don't know. 6 by 6, let's just say.
6 by 6. They get on and, you got your side of the elevator. I got my side of the elevator. We're both going to look up at the numbers and, go, oh yeah, 4 is after 5. But if that person gets in and stands just a foot closer, you're there's a part of you that's that's kind of in my space. And if if you can feel that they're looking at you, that's another this is weird. And the doors are going to open in 10 seconds, but it's still if you don't have the right body language and behave, in a proper manner in an elevator with somebody, you're going to freak them out or they're going to freak you out. And it's the same thing. It's just their
bubble.
Their bubble is much bigger than people's.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned getting bit, because I just thought of something to share with you guys.
Sure.
In the event, if somebody gets bit in somebody's home, when you're looking for a cleaning company, you always want to ask them about their insurance. Okay. So if you have a true cleaning company, they typically have all the bells and whistles like we do as far as the insurance. So when you hire somebody that doesn't have that, maybe they're not a company, they're just, somebody's friend or somebody's
Individual.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So when you're with me, for example, or a cleaning company, you're a client. When you hire somebody else that's not a company, you're an employer or could be considered an employer, and there's certain liabilities you have to consider. An actual company is going to be a little more expensive than a typical kind of one-off cleaner that's not a company, quote unquote company. But for example, if somebody gets bit in your home and you've used a friend of a friend or whoever, and you're responsible for that dog bite, and there's some liability things that you might want to consider. If you're with a company that has insurance, then you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
That's covered.
Well, it's not just like a dog bite. I think like if
you break something.
Yeah, if they knock the TV over on accident or broke the crystal glass or something, then it's covered. It's not just somebody going, my bad.
Yeah.
No, God, no.
One of your team members came and it was her first time here, and I walked around the house and I was like, okay, here, I'm just going to show you, there's 5 things in the house that I care about. So just please, when you're dusting this, just be real careful.
Yeah.
And it was great. But yeah, you don't think about it until someone's never been there before. And you're like, oh, wait, you don't know. These are the things you need to know.
You're like, that glass orb up there, that's my
dad.
That's my dad's ashes that we had molded into a piece of glass.
It's actually true. And that was one of the things that I showed her. But
she's like, what?
The making of it was really special. It was really, really cool. We got to go up to Seattle and actually see it get made, and it was really neat. So
hey, we need to let her get out of here.
Well, do we cut you off with your tips, or are there?
No, we're fine. It sounds like I need to make some notes in your file, though. Don't break his dad.
Don't break dad on the fireplace. It's her dad. I don't care. I wasn't.
Do you care? He's like, it's her dad. I don't care.
Sorry.
I don't care. What if it was your dad? Then you would care.
Then I would care.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I think you should maybe give a couple of tips of what people can do to prepare for having home services like Angela's company come in. What can you do to get your dog prepared?
If you know they're coming, be sure your dog gets out and can go to the bathroom. Feed them so they're not hungry. Think about yourself. Like if you have to go to the bathroom or if you're hungry, it sort of alters your mood. Exercise them, if you can take them for a walk or, let them have something to do in the background. We do a lot of mental enrichment for the dogs because dogs don't hunt for their food anymore. There's they don't use any energy to scavenge or hunt or forage. So there's toys or games or even things that you can make yourself. I mean, you can get an old Gatorade bottle and fill it with dog food and just give the dog that. Anyways, it gives them an outlet to burn off some energy and just sort of settle so that if somebody new comes in the house, their basic needs have been taken care of and it's not like, what is this?
And if they're mentally and physically tired, then they're less likely to get all worked up about.
Yeah, they're just
visitor.
More relaxed and happier to entertain people. But yeah, that's
the main one.
Yeah, those are the main things.
Okay.
Give them something to do, if the dog's going to be home and they're going to be home. It's really easy for the owner to create a puzzle toy or something that'll occupy them,
like a stuffed Kong.
Yeah, you can stuff a Kong or get
popsicle,
a real bone. Basically, stuff it with cheese or peanut butter or wet food and freeze it, and tell the maid, hey, when you get here, there's a frozen Kong in the freezer.
Just take that out and give it to the dog,
or leave a handful of cheese on the front door. So when you walk in, you're like, here's your cheese. I'm going to get your treats. I'm going to get your Kong, and then you give that to the dog, and they're like, cool, I'll be on my bed.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So do you want to ask Angela her
yes.
her speed round?
So did you grew up with dogs? Did you have dogs? Okay,
She's
so
had one even not that long ago. Not that long ago, right?
A couple years.
Yeah.
so
And you have a kitty cat now, don't you?
Two.
okay, so my
Okay.
first question is, how old were you when you first noticed dogs, or like when you like, what's your first memory of a dog?
Oh, I had two dogs growing up. I would say I was probably 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Their names were Buffy and Jody.
Yay, from
And-
Family Affair.
I don't know. I was
Yeah.
2 or 3.
That was a TV show.
Well,
Oh,
it
it
was
was?
before her time.
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Is
the
it brother
70s.
and
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe that's what it was. I remember my parents said something about naming them after something, but I didn't know what it was. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I'll have to watch that show. They were the sweetest little dogs. My parents had rescued them, and they were with us for so long. Like, they were definitely part of my childhood, and they were just the
Mhm.
most beautiful, precious little things.
Oh, Buffy and Jody.
Yeah, that's so
Mm.
funny. It's called the Family Affair. It was about an uncle. I guess his brother had died, and so the little kids came to live with him, and he was like a wealthy businessman in New York or something. And he had like a butler, and it was just the shenanigans of the little
She's
kids.
taking notes.
I'm
Jody and
writing
Buffy,
that
that's
down.
so funny.
I'm gonna maybe I'll find it on Netflix.
I don't know if you'd find it on Netflix.
No, but maybe clips on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
You might be able to watch it on YouTube. Okay, my second question
Mhm.
is, what's my second question?
How
How many dogs have you had, like in your life?
Not many. I had Buffy and Jody growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I was in college, I had rescued one and brought it home to my mom, and it ended up to be her dog. So when I moved
That
away,
happens to a lot of college dogs.
yeah, but when I moved away, I didn't end up taking her. I knew that she had a nice yard to run around, and I knew that putting her in an
Yeah.
apartment wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Funny story, I did not have dogs for most of my all of my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's smart.
until I met my wife, back then girlfriend, back in 2004, and she had a little Brazilian Terrier. And we decided to move in together, and I said, okay, it's fine, you can bring your dog, but the dog's not going to go on the furniture. It's just
Want to
not.
bet?
And I got the same laugh. That was the equivalent of when I told my wife our kids aren't going to eat in the minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was completely not a thing. But we had her for a long time. She actually just passed a few years ago, but she was a good
Mhm.
dog. So I'd say 3 or 4 ish.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right now we've got cats, and my wife's allergic, so I make sure that I hire a professional cleaning team to come in every week. And
Nice. Do you
Get
know
that.
any?
fantastic one.
She happens to know
I
a
have-
really
They were
good
here 2
one.
days ago, and
Yes, I remember.
Okay, so
They've-
the last question might be harder since you didn't have a lot of dogs. But what was the biggest, like,
It could apply to cats too.
it could for sure. Like, oh no, like I
biggest
can't
oops.
believe the dog did that, or like the biggest vet bill, or just something crazy that the dog did that you were just like, why do we have dogs?
We could tell her our story from this week. Oh, I think I already told it at BNI.
But that's not the biggest one.
It was
like,
it wasn't an oops. It was an oops, but it wasn't a financial oops.
yeah, like one Christmas Eve, we went to church services,
Mhm.
and our dog had eaten like basically $100 piece of beef tenderloin.
She
Oh,
was like, it was delicious.
Yeah. And another somebody else that we talked to, they said her 2 dogs were fighting, and the dog's eye popped out. And I was like, did you freak out? And she was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, we did.
oh yeah, my dad was freaking out too.
oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
But it's just
Um,
like it's some kind of terrier
I think
that
she's thought
had
of one.
big eyes. Anyways, so
Well, when I was a kid, I was old enough to know better, I think, but too young to understand. I don't know. I remember being in the kitchen and my mom had a plate of food and she had just cooked a big tray of fried chicken. And then she was making the dog's bowl and said, "Can you feed the dogs?" And she set the bowl next to the fried chicken. Well, I don't know, 5, 6. I didn't know any better. So I fed the dogs that whole platter of fried chicken. I came back in. My mom was like, "What did you just do?" I'm like, "You said feed the dog."
You didn't say what?
You said.
You said feed the dog.
That's
and those
awesome.
dogs were happy that night.
Aww.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I'm sure they followed you around for the next couple of years. Hey, can she feed us again?
Let's see what Angela has.
Yeah. Dry dog food again?
Oh,
No.
When are we going to get that plate of chicken?
I
Where's some chicken?
know.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
To this day, my mom doesn't let me live that down.
That's good though. That's funny.
That is a good one.
I could go on. I have so many stories like that.
We'll
anyway,
save them for another day.
Next time you see me, ask me to tell you stories about Chelsea and
our first
Skipper
dog.
and
Oh gosh.
Well,
we could go on.
My favorite thing now is we've got these cats, and with COVID, I'm on a lot of Zooms as everybody else is. And my favorite thing is, you probably witnessed it this week, is my cat will get up and just walk past me in the middle of a Zoom, and then I'll pick her up, put her down, and then the next thing she'll jump on the back of my shoulder, and she's all of a sudden right there, and I'm like, "Can you stop?"
Did you see the Twitter thing where the
cat lawyer,
the Zoom call?
Oh, it wasn't
I've been
the
giggling
lawyer,
about
it was the defendant.
days.
Huh?
I've been giggling about that for days.
Yeah,
It's so
the
funny.
eyes are like this. He's like, I'm not a
It's
cat.
like, I'm not a cat.
I just want to know where that Zoom filter is and how I turn it on, because I think that is hilarious.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
The guy that was like, not the guy that was talking, but like the guy above, just like his face is, you could tell he was kind of like, just like, yeah, God. But then he could not laugh.
You got a special guest.
Speaking about special guests, this is my daughter.
Hi. She's like,
Olivia.
Mom, we see you.
Hi.
Can you say hi?
Your mom's a rock star. You know that, right?
Oh, actually, she can't hear you.
Oh, haha.
Okay.
We said hi.
She's trying to hear.
She's like,
Tell her what we said. See if she agrees.
We're Santa's elves.
You say hi? You can't hear them. I've got this on so they couldn't hear you.
Oh, so cute.
We're getting ready to go shopping for her. She wants to have a red dress for Valentine's Day.
That's so awesome.
I love it. I love it. I'm a girly girl, so I'm all about that red dress.
Yep.
So we'll let you go get that red dress. And thank you so much for being on the Dog Ranch TV podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we loved it.
I told you it was easy. We're so fun. It's been fun to talk to you. It's been one of my favorite Zoom calls. There's so many that I hate doing.
No, but you love the podcast.
Yeah, I do like the podcast a lot.
That's what I thought.
It was a lot of fun.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.